Welcome back this week, you guys. Spend a lot of time building bows in my garage, and as you can imagine, the neighbors and the kids on the block get to know the fact that I'm building a lot of bows and whatnot. And the young men on the block have become quite interested in getting involved in shooting bows, simply because they see a lot of it going on here at my house. So took a moment this week to build a couple of bows for the boys on the street. So we got one here, just a hickory board bow. They both pull 18 inches or 18 pounds at 20 inches. They'll pull to 22 inches and about 20 pounds. But what they are is two very different designs. So I have a pyramid style, just a bamboo bow here with a riser glued on there. Very easy to make. Go through that process. And then really just an edge cut off from a piece of hickory board that I used in some other bows that are made, that this one's made a little more in an English style type of long bow. So yeah, guys, I'm just going to dive in. I'll show you how I built them. They're very quick and easy bows that will get the kids engaged, and that's truthfully what we need to do. So here are the pieces that I'm looking at or eyeballing for our kids' bows. There's some reasons why I'm looking at this stuff in particular. This right here is actually an edge cut of hickory. It's 48 inches long. It is only, it's a little thicker than 3/4, but not much, like right on an inch. So an inch wide here. I figure I could probably get a good long bow type of bow out of that. It's not very thick, but it's still pretty stout for its length. And then I got some pieces of bamboo sitting here. If you've followed it all along with my layout and how to pick a piece of bamboo to back your bow with, then you know that we're trying to mitigate the nodes near the grip. And these are pieces that I'm just going to struggle with. Since I'm sitting on a fair number of them, what I've decided to do is go ahead and we'll just cut them short, and I'm going to use a bamboo slat just as the entire bow. So we're going to make one bow out of hickory here and one bow out of bamboo, and they'll be a little different in the construction methods, but these are going to be very quick builds for the kids. Here are our bows laid out. Went ahead and left the cutoff from my bamboo strip here 30, oh shucks, I think it's 30 inches on the button when I measured it. I think I'm going to contemplate maybe doing something in the way of a crossbow with that piece of bamboo. It's just a little something to play with. So set that aside and then turn our sights to our two kids' bows here. Just drew out what's going to be primarily a just a pyramid style bow on the bamboo, and then only drew out the grip area and then struck a line. I don't know if you guys can see the line on here, just a bisecting line down the length of the hickory piece here. I'm going to make these really pretty quickly and easily. So here's where we're at now. The bamboo has been sanded down to a nice, pretty much flat belly surface here. Have had a tillering string on it and strung backwards so that I could sand out the belly portions. The trick with this is we don't want to do too much backward tillering on there because it's going to stress the limbs in properly, but enough to get a good even bend and then get it strung and start working it in the right direction. Now I have I'm kind of working on the weight of this one. It's still pretty springy here, and since it's a wide bow, it's 1.5 inches up here at the fade. If necessary, we'll just start working the sides of this thing to kind of bring the weight down. You know, we've got a good thickness on it. It's not super duper thick. And it's got good flex to it. So I think where we're going to go here now is probably doing a lot of removing weight by working off the edges. And the tip is pretty, you can see the tip is pretty wide. So I got a lot of room to work with there. Unlike the other bow here, which is a little narrower up at that tip. I did just taper out the last 6 inches here to a 1/2 inch knock, or a 1/2 inch tip. And then on the sander, just kind of knocked off that corner of the 6 inches. So a nice even taper, top and bottom limb here. Sanded the back so it's really nice and smooth. We've ground down the belly here. You can kind of see where fade outs occur. So this guy is pretty well going. Both of them are floor tillering, you know, for the weight we're going for, 20 pounds. And I'm thinking like a draw length somewhere in the neighborhood of 22 or 23 inches. They're still pretty heavy, I think. I'm not accustomed to making bows like this, truth be told. So I'll probably get them strung up and just start working on the draw length and weight, but not before I apply. I'm going to put on some riser blocks here. So here's where we stand now that we've got the bows themselves bending. I went ahead and kind of worked in a grip and fades into the bamboo pyramid style that we're putting together here. Red oak riser piece, and you'll see how I put the fades in advance. So just kind of ran them on the sander here, you know, to get it rounded, or here, you know, so that I could glue it on without having to worry about this transition, the fade into the limb. And since these are going to be very lightweight bows, you're just not going to run into too much issue here. But that saves a lot of the tedious work of trying to blend your riser into the bow limb. And same goes for this one here. Here's our first look at how these guys are bending. This lower bow does have an upper limb that's just a tad longer than the lower limb, so you should expect a little bit more bend on here. But getting good even bend, nonetheless. I think I need to get probably just a little more work on the lower limb. This upper guy's bending definitely more here than down here. Could make amends to that and make this our upper limb. We'll probably just start there, but a little bit of work here. So took some material off of the offending limbs right here, and if I'm recalling correctly, right here I have since turned the bow around on the bamboo one. Bamboo bow seems to be bending really pretty evenly. I might need to get a little more arc going right here, but this should be an arc of the circle type of tiller right here. And so I'm feeling pretty confident that we're close. It already pulls. The beautiful thing about doing this sort of bow with bamboo is bamboo just doesn't break, right? It's not going to snap. So you know it's going to be relatively safe in that regard. The hickory bow, on the other hand, you know, no guarantees there in that regard. I'm happy with the bend on both, though. So really, it's just getting them matched up and then just bringing it home. Dare I say that was easy? You know, I stuck this guy in the vise and just worked a little bit, probably with my card scraper, for about 10 or 15 strokes across the tip to the fade, and then came back with the file and just kind of smoothed it out. And we are right back in business on this bow with a bottom side setback of about 5 1/8, top side of about 5 3/16. I can deal with 1/16 of positive tiller on this bow. I think that's perfect. So I think we're about there. And then something that I have neglected to address pretty much all the way through here at this point has been, put it in light here, ensuring that we're not twisting in any way. And I've got big knots going on right here, but as for string tracking down the limbs, we're tracking nice and straight on this guy. As for the bamboo bow, similar. It looks like that top limb toward the floor could come off a little bit on this side over here, thin out. But for the most part, these strings are tracking pretty straight. Okay, well, in the vein of technical difficulties, I'm a little bit beside myself with the fact that I was turning my camera off when I thought I was turning it on, and turning it on when I thought I was turning it off, and I filmed all of the stuff I didn't want and none of the stuff I did. To bring you up to speed, I did a couple tillering corrections on this guy. I'll show you the final tiller on it. I'm really sorry to miss some content. And in the meantime, the wind started up, so now I don't even have I'm not able to hang the backer piece up so that you can really kind of get a view of the arc of the bow against a plain background. I got all the busyness going. So just striking out all over the place. I'm a little upset, but here we go. Got pretty even pull, guys, and truthfully I don't think it's going to go much beyond 20 inches for the young man that's going to be using it, but I am able to go ahead and get this guy to 22. So 22 inches, he's 18 pounds. Seems like a, you know, just stout enough a bow for a young man to have some good fun with. So here we go. Some good learning opportunities for him. And there's the bend on that guy. And I'm sorry that I couldn't put the backer board up to make it a little more obvious. But we're gonna go from here and move on to the bamboo bow. Okay guys, so here goes the bamboo bow. And you can see I've just got the slightest flipped tips on there. And again, I'm sorry that the background is busy, but the wind is just enough I can't put that backer up. Here we go. This guy will also pull easily to 20. Oh, let me get this right. And at 20 pounds, he's in the 14, or at 20 inches rather, he's in the 14 pounds range. But it will make it to 22. So at 22, he's about 17. Yeah, a little over 16 pounds. It's a little lighter bow than the other one. Much smaller, of course. This is the not necessarily finished product, but for all intents and purposes, the finished work. They've been shot a few times, tillered, and grips have been rounded over and whatnot. For these kids, here's the other one here. We'll put a little rest right here for this guy. We'll send them off to the boys up the street and get them started on learning hopefully a lifetime passion for archery.